Good morning, everyone, and a big thank you for joining us on this wet and windy day. Great that you have come along because we're going to be discussing something really interesting today about how we can make a more relevant curriculum. So in 3 rough steps. But we have our host today is Carla Archibald, who is our Business Development Manager at EMSI. But we've also got Mark Hillman from the Basingstoke College of Technology with us, which is going to be great because we can hear his views on how his curriculum has to be more relevant in his area as well. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Carla. But before I do that, just don't forget to put any questions in the questions box on your control panel. And as we go through, we hopefully will be able to look at those halfway through when we speak to Mark as well, just to get your feedback. And also, if there's any, put them there and we'll answer them at the end. So over to you, Carla. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Debbie, and good morning, everyone else. As Debbie said, thanks for joining us this morning. A very wet day in Liverpool in December. So today's webinar is focusing on those 3 steps to planning a more relevant curriculum. So we're excited to have Mark Hillman here today with us from Basingstoke Technology of College of Technology, as Debbie said. Mark will be sharing his experiences a little later on kind of the need for a more relevant curriculum and how the college have started to start making steps towards that. So over the next 30 minutes or so, this is what we are aiming to cover. So a little bit of a run through of the agenda. As always, a brief introduction to EMSI for anybody who is new to us. We'll have a look at the drivers around the need for a more relevant curriculum and what that actually means. We'll have a look at some of the challenges that education providers are facing in trying to do this, and I'm sure Mark's input will be valuable in this section as well. And we're going to run through the 3 steps that we believe providers can take towards planning a more relevant curriculum using labour market data, as that's what EMSI is all about. And then most importantly, we've got Mark with us just to share some of his experiences in using labour market data to align their provision with the local labour market needs. So a little bit about EMSI. Being sure that your curriculum offer benefits your learners' employment prospects as well as your local economy is a hard balancing act. We all know that, but it's fundamental to your mission as a college, especially with the ever-increasing pressure from the government, Ofsted and local employers. So it's our aim then to give local insight into your region that will then allow you to fulfil this mission. So I suppose it's our mission at EMSI to help people make better decisions relating to the world of work. We do this by giving our customers robust, detailed, complete labour market data to help them understand where they should be focusing their efforts, whether this be across curriculum planning, employer or student engagement, marketing, or the wider kind of sense of supporting bids and tenders. So why the need to adapt your curriculum and ensure it aligns with local employer needs? So what are the challenges and what are the drivers for this? So we know that further education providers are under constant pressure by government policy, Ofsted, and now local employers to develop a provision that is better aligned to the skills needs of employers, but which is also geared to producing better employment outcomes for learners. So alongside the qualification reforms such as the T-levels, we've got the apprenticeship levy, but we've also seen increasing emphasis from Ofsted in particular around the appropriateness, the relevance and the content of the curriculum. So this will probably be kind of the main driver and the main focus. We've recently just released an article on FE News that you'll be able to find on our blog that goes into a little bit more detail around this. So the new FE Skills and Inspection Handbook has laid out emphasis on the extent to which the range and context of provision is aligned to local and regional priorities. And it also goes into a little bit more detail to say it will be focusing on the extent to which learners progress to relevant further learning or employment. We also more recently saw at this year's annual AOC conference just a couple of weeks ago, comments from the Chief Inspector at Ofsted, Amanda Spielman. She told the sector that there was a huge mismatch between the number of students taking courses and their future employment within the industry. Quite a lot of debate around this, but she also went on to stress that it's the role of the FE sector, and it's our job to create some level of match between the supply and demand. And if we weren't doing that, we were basically not serving the needs of our learners. So we recently published our 3-step guide to better curriculum planning, outlining the 3 steps that we believe will help a provider, so education or FE, to achieve a meaningful, relevant and appropriate curriculum that meets employer needs, that Ofsted are happy with, but above all, that helps learners to achieve successful outcomes. So in step 1, it's all about reviewing your current provision against regional employer demands. This can help us to identify areas of current alignment, current misalignment, and potential areas for new course development. So on this slide, we've just got a couple of examples of that. So the top graph shows kind of an example college where completions are higher than annual openings, showing kind of potential areas of oversupply. The middle graph shows the flip side, so where the blue bars are higher than the green bars, that's showing us that there are potential areas of undersupply within that provision. And then also the bottom column, which is showing us the top 10 course areas where this provider in particular has no current course completions, but where annual openings are significant. So strengths, weaknesses, or strengths, threats, and opportunities can be identified through this step 1 of reviewing your provision. All just sample data, but a really, really good demonstration of how that can be done. So step 2, we can see that labour market data can help providers connect course areas with the local industries and occupations they train for, giving detailed information on things like projected job growth and median hourly wages on the jobs that learners can expect to progress to from the specific course areas. So basically what we're seeing is a course area, we're mapping that to the occupations that they typically train for, so the learner's got a really good idea, as well as the curriculum developers and designers, of where those courses are leading to and what the local labour market data is saying around this. As well as job growth and wage data connected to these course areas, though, we're also able to compare the growth of related occupations from one region to another. So the beauty of labour market data is that we can look from a local authority level to a county, a government office region, or even a national region. So what this graph, for example, is showing us is the projected job growth for engineering occupations. So a group of courses that lead to an engineering occupation from 2017 to 2022 in the Leeds region. And then what we're doing is, so that's the blue bar, the green bar, sorry. And then what we're doing is comparing that to the other 3 nearby cities in the region. So Sheffield, Bradford and Hull. Also the government office region, which is Yorkshire and Humber. And then also the national region, so Britain. As you can basically see, then what this does is shows us that in this instance, Leeds is expected to see the highest growth with almost 4% compared to Yorkshire and Humber, for example, which is 2.57%. So basically, engineering related occupations has a specialised need for these sets of skills within the region, and this college could tap into that area accordingly. So once we've kind of reviewed existing curriculum, identified strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, we've translated those course areas into industries and occupations that they've trained for and had a look around the area. Step 3 is all around building a strong business case for developing new courses, making changes to existing ones, but then also clearly understanding the skills needs of local employers. And this then helps employer engagement teams, business development teams, engage confidently with them on the basis that as a college they can meet the needs with their relevant provision. So combining traditional structural granular labour market data with job postings data, it gives us a real-time look into companies posting, what job titles they're looking to fill, and the skills they require. And this is what this slide's showing us here. So basically, we've taken that job postings element to the engineering course area and the engineering occupations that trains for. And what we're seeing is that in terms of local companies posting, we've got a list of 10 companies there that are posting kind of monthly for engineering occupations. We can also see some of the job titles that they're looking for. So they're looking for maintenance engineers, vehicle technicians, infrastructure engineers in particular. And I think that's important when you're just looking at a SOC code in terms of labour market data. It's quite difficult to really understand the role of that job or that occupation. When we're looking at job titles, that's given us a whole scope there of everything from a maintenance engineer to an IT support engineer. And then lastly, what it also does is give us a list of desired skills that those employers are looking for within these roles. So from repairing computer systems to computer science, testing and engineering. Some of the postings have these skills within them, and you can kind of see a ranking order within that. Really, really valuable data. So those 3 steps we've explored in the previous slides, we've recently developed into a tool called Course Vision. And this basically is a tool to enable providers to effectively plan curriculum that is designed to do exactly what we've talked about, align the provision to the skills that employers really need. So a mixture of structural labour market data and real-time labour market data. The tool basically contains 3 key reports, which helps us answer key questions around curriculum planning and identify those areas of strength, but also feeds into things like employer engagement, etc. So this basically brings us on to a bit of a case study. So I want to welcome and introduce Mark, which we've already done, but Mark's the Deputy Principal of Curriculum Performance and Innovation at Basingstoke College of Technology. So BCOT have recently invested in our Course Vision tool, and with it being a new tool, we just launched this at the end of September. They're one of the first within the FE sector to do so. We're therefore really excited to gain some feedback of his team's experience to date of embedding local labour market data into that curriculum planning cycle. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Carla. And thank you for inviting me to take part in the webinar. We're very excited to do so.
No, great, thank you. So I've just got a few questions, and I think we'll just run this as a bit of a question and answer session. Anyone who wants to add additional questions will have a bit of time at the end just to go through, but I've just got kind of 5 basic questions just to go through with you. So I suppose first of all, we've talked about some of the drivers around curriculum alignment and the pressure from Ofsted at the minute. What was the main driver for the college investing in the Course Vision tool this time?
Okay, so I think really we wanted to look at whether our existing curriculum was well enough aligned to the local and regional employment market, so that we could be sure that our students had, I guess, sufficient opportunities to gain relevant employment after studying with us. We wanted to explore the employment market to understand where there might be gaps in our provision that again we might be able to plug that might then lead to employment opportunities for students. And I think we also wanted to explore the arguments for developing our higher education provision. So again, that it was aligned to the skill needs of and the job market in the region, really. That's where we came in at, and it was interesting when Amanda Spillman spoke at the AOC conference. Her views were sort of aligned to our views around what we should be doing with our curriculum, so that there is a direct route for employment, or indeed HE, for our students. So that's really the main drivers for picking up the Course Vision tool.
No, perfect. And I think the point on HE is really important. It's not something that we kind of naturally see within the FE sector, at least. So that's an exciting development. So how did you go about implementing the tool within the college to begin with? I know it's early days, and what departments are currently using it. So have you rolled this out to kind of SMT level, or is it something that each one of your curriculum heads are using, or even kind of marketing? How is that working out within the college at the minute?
Okay, so you're right to say it's early days for us, but we've rolled that out. We've rolled out the Course Vision tool to our middle managers. So these are managers that are responsible for 6, 7, 8 curriculum areas, and they are the people that do the work for the development of and the design of the curriculum. They are the people that drive, that provision development, and they are central to the business planning cycle for that development of the curriculum. So it's gone out to those people. We have provided access to our marketing team, because I think it's important for them to be able to understand what the job market is for our students, so that we can then, promote employment with all the details around potential salaries, number of outcomes, or number of openings, I should say, for those jobs. So it's sort of it's a way of attracting students to courses that we run. And for them to know, what are the salaries and are there jobs at the end of it. So it's rolled out to marketing, and we've also got a small HE development team here, and again it's rolled out to those people to focus on the skills gaps that we think are in this area, and the employment opportunities, particularly around level 4 and level 5. So those are the groups that it's been rolled out to at the moment.
Perfect. And we mentioned it's early days. Most colleges will start to think about that process now and after Christmas. Have your teams kind of identified anything that's quite alarming to you in terms of curriculum, or have you made any changes or additions as of kind of in these early days to the offer using the labour market data for the next round of curriculum?
So really, how is the tool helping to inform the planning cycle for us?
So is there anything that's kind of been pulled out as, okay, we definitely need to change this, or there's a massive development area for that? So has there anything been striking that's come out of that first round of kind of assessment and that you definitely will make a change on?
Well, I think for us, we've got some of our curriculum areas that are not recruiting, really substantial numbers of students, and areas that I'm worried about, to be honest. Okay. So I've been looking. So one of those areas I'll tell you is business. Mm-hmm. And I know that business higher education level is the biggest course there is in the UK, and it's often business with accounting, business with finance, business with something else, and actually using the Course Vision tool is making us think, well, should we be running essentially a major minor provision, so almost an American style curriculum for business students, where they might do business and animal management, or they might do business and hospitality, business and sport, because I can see that there are job opportunities in the animal management field, in the sport area, in engineering, in this area, but and it leads me to think that lots of those companies will have business functions within their, within the engineering enterprise, for example. So I guess the course vision tool is making me think, well, if I've got those employment markets in engineering or in animal or wherever it might be, and I've got a set of business students who could perform business functions, if I can adapt their curriculum so that they are tailored towards animal with the business study, that's then going to set them up to get employed in those areas. So it's really leading us down that route for career development, I think, for curriculum development. And the other thing I guess it's doing for us is making us think about our HE provisions. So we've touched on it already, and I know what the local enterprise partnerships priorities are for the next 5 years, the next 10 years indeed. And I know that there are skills gaps around level 4 and level 5 in what they describe as digital, but that's really too broad for me. So using that course vision tool, I can dig into a little bit around, well, what does digital mean in this area? What are the careers? What are the job opportunities in that field at level 4 and level 5? And course vision is allowing me to do that, and is allowing me to see the sorts of employers that are trying to recruit at that level. And I can then go, quite honestly, I can go to their websites. Well, what is it exactly you are doing, and how does that then feed into what our higher education, our part-time higher education offer needs to be? So it's leading us down that route.
No, absolutely, and that brings me really nicely onto the last question, which is, as well as just using it as a kind of curriculum alignment tool, we've talked about how it can then be used within kind of progression, marketing, recruitment. I suppose the question was around employer engagement. Are you finding this useful to then go to employers and have informed conversations? You've just answered that question, so that's fantastic. If you want to expand on that, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's going to end up sort of sharing a whole lot of trade secrets, really, isn't it? What's really nice for us on the tool is, when you look at one of the functions within course vision, it will describe who the big employers are in this area, or describe where the employers are who are putting out the most the most jobs, really. So we're all sharing the challenge of T levels work placements at the moment, and finding sufficient work placements for students that are high quality. And I live close to the college, relatively close, and I know this area relatively well. But I've got not a particularly, I guess, a comprehensive understanding of who all the employers are within the Basingstoke area, and I couldn't ever dream to have that. But this tool is enabling me to see, well, look, in engineering, you've got these top 10 employers who are these people are putting out jobs at the moment, and sort of fairly high frequency, and some of those that I'm seeing are not on my radar. So that's enabling me to say to my work placement guys, actually, have you been in contact with X, Y, and Z? Because they are a large employer, they are seeking people to fill roles, and therefore is there opportunity for work placements with them. So it's given me that little bit of intelligence that I may not have had, and it's also allowing us. We have significant apprenticeship provision here at BCOT, so again, bit of a trade secret, but it's giving us some of those new leads that we may not have seen, and that's sort of an added benefit that the tool provides that we perhaps weren't cognizant of when we started using the tool. So that's been really great for us.
Absolutely, and I think coming back to the AOC, one of the main kind of pressure points and the issues that got brought up quite a lot was the industry placements and apprenticeship placements, and how do we know we have strong relationships in kind of care and engineering that the big employers we work with will also always have placements for us. But going back to that business course element, it's about exactly what you said, understanding what other industries these occupations fall into, and having a bit of an inverse staffing pattern in how that works and how you can kind of tap into all different things. Debbie, do we have any questions from the audience?
Sorry, no, we don't. I was just unmuting myself.
No,
no, it's not any questions. Sorry about that.
Lovely. And if there's anything else that comes in afterwards, we can obviously get back to Mark to help informing that. Mark, do you have anything to add? Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. That's been really, really insightful.
That's okay. I think I will add one more thing
Yeah,
before I knock off. So the guys at MZ, were really helpful. Provided the training sessions that we thought we would need, but to be perfectly honest, and whilst the training was very good, we didn't really need very much in the way of training. For me, the tool is really very easy to drive. It's pretty intuitive. So and I know that there's support within the tool, help pages, etc. If you do get stuck, and there's also a communication link there as well, isn't there? Where I could put in, oh my God, I'm stuck on this. Help me out, and someone from MZ will then get in contact. So ease of use of the tool is great, actually, from my perspective. So that's the only other thing I'd add, really.
Fantastic, and thank you for that. I think that's really nice to hear, because one of the main drivers for us creating this tool as a standalone from analysts, for anybody who's already an analyst customer, was that essentially the tool was just too big. Curriculum heads and VPs just basically needed to know, how are we aligned, where are we not aligned, and how can we kind of tap into local employers that offer these types of occupations. So that feedback's really good. Thank you so much, Mark. I'll just bring this up to an end now. Thank you so much for your time. So just to kind of summarize, basically what we've tried to do this morning is give you a bit of an insight and some ideas on how you can ultimately support colleges in building a strong business case for aligning your provision. 3 key questions, I suppose, that we're trying to answer with this tool is, why do we need to reduce this kind of provision? Why should we develop these courses? Why are we thinking about including these skills elements into the course? And basically, I suppose the answer to all 3 of these questions is simply because the data is telling us that this is what local employers need, which is what kind of we go back to every single time when we talk about government employers and local drivers. So by following these 3 steps, then we're hoping to help you build and have the confidence to make more important decisions around curriculum, in the knowledge that what you're doing is based on local insight within the region. So that's it from me today. I just want to do a really, really quick plug regarding our annual national conference next year. We've kind of grown and grown. This is the 3rd national conference that we will do. It's on the 15th and 16th of May 2019 next year, and we've just released the early bird tickets that you can get at £35 plus VAT. So the full lineup for the speakers, which are already confirmed, which is very exciting, are on our website, and you can also sign up on our website. Debbie, do you want to give that website address, as I don't have it written down?
No, it's fine. Basically, if you go into the normal MZ website, which is economicmodelling.co.uk, then it's /conference. Or if you go to the resources tab at the top of the conference page, you will get the MZ conference details there as well. And there is pop-ups and various other things. And I will say the conference is actually on one day, the 16th, but the 15th is it's drinks reception in the evening, which would be great for people to come to, and we can network and they can network. So that'll be the conference. So that's great. Thank you for the webinar. It was really good. Great to have Mark on board. And over back to you again, Carla.
No, fantastic. We're coming up to have 11, so just one last thing. We'd love to hear about your challenges and basically talk about how we can kind of help these with local insight. So my email address is on the screen, and as is my phone number. Do get in touch. We can also send up follow-up slides, and we have recorded this webinar for anybody who wants to listen back over, especially around the input that Mark gave us. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day, and we will speak to you all soon.
Thanks. Bye.